Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of This Week on iRacing, the series that tries to give you all the information you might possibly need about the next upcoming races before they appear on the UI. Now, it's a special episode. Why is it a special episode? Because it's a special event, one of the biggest of the year. The second biggest one, I would argue. It is the Spa 24-hour this weekend, boys and girls. And my goodness me, it's going to be a popular one. I think it's going to be record-breaking. Now, talking about record-breaking, there's no rain. And it's a bit of an odd one, because I thought for sure... Hello, Fred. I thought for sure, on the record books, just you always have something happen at Spa, right? Like, in terms of weather. It's got its own climate. So I was shook to my core when I found out earlier today that there'd be no rain for the Spa 24-hour. That's right, there's no rain at all. No rain at all to worry about. I was shooketh, I tell you. I couldn't quite believe it, but it's true. There is no rain for this year's 24-hour event. So let's go through it a little bit. So no rain at all. It is overcast for basically the whole thing. So track temperatures are really not going to get above 30 degrees, which is kind of odd. If you get 30 degrees, fantastic, but really, I don't think you're going to hit much higher than that at all, if you really do, because of the overcast. I've loaded into the sim. Every time I've loaded into the sim, it's been about mid-20s, but do bear in mind it's around 4 p.m, so a little bit earlier, it could be above 30, but I don't know. The overcast weather is making me question it, to be honest with you, but we'll see. We'll see on the day, I guess. But track temperature-wise, main thing to take is not to worry about it and not to worry about the rain. In-sim game time starts at 4 p.m, and it's 60 cars, so it's a 60-car grid, which I think is a first. Normally it's 50 or 55, I do believe. That's pretty awesome, so about the same as we get in an endurance series, so about time. All the GT3 cars are included. Now let's have a look at the important information, like I said. So if we have a look at the forecast here for the rain, so clouds and precipitation, as you can see, there's practice quali and the race. Look, so lots of cloud cover. Gets down to 60%. 61% of cloud cover, and then the rest of it is just 100% cloud cover, so should be nice and cool. No real high temperatures to worry about. And I'm just, honestly, I'm absolutely not perplexed, but just so surprised that there's no rain. I really, really am. I thought of any special event, Spa would be the one where they have no rain. I know the one we just had, the real life one, was really, really hot. But that, even then, that was an anomaly. It doesn't really happen at Spa, so I'm surprised. I really, really am surprised. So, yeah. Right, let's quickly talk about the BOP. It's an interesting one. Now, remember, BOP, balance of power, balance of performance, whatever you want to call it, is designed to make the cars as equal as possible over a stint. Having a look at this, I would say immediately, harsh penalty-wise, is the Mustang. 15 kilos is very strong. And I think anything really with 10 kilos weight penalty as well is quite strong. Acura, Audi, Corvette, Lamborghini, all with 10 kilos is quite strong. The Mustang with 15 and 1.5% power loss is a strange one. Acura 96% fuel as well. So yeah, blimey. Also have a look at this as well. You can kind of tell who the winners and the losers are and what kind of car is, I'd say, bad at Spa. And the fact there's one car here that's glaringly obvious that hasn't been touched at all is the Porsche. So I have to assume that the Porsche is just pretty rubbish. And the BOP has hopefully brought it into play, but who knows? To have nothing touched on the car at all kind of shows you that without the BOP, it was a sitting duck anyways. So the fact that it doesn't have one, fingers crossed, it'll be a little bit closer. One thing that did surprise me about this BOP is the McLaren, only 5 kilos and no power adjustment. Now, we have just recently had a BOP change, kind of like it's happened in the background. So maybe the McLaren is not as fast in a straight line as its counterparts, shall we say. But yeah, quite surprised by that, I do have to say. The Merc hasn't actually been killed either. I have found in the last year or so, the Mercedes just gets absolutely obliterated in the BOPs. But this season, or for this special event, I should say, seems to be okay. And what's up the Corvette getting 96% fuel as well? That's a real surprise. And the Mustang staying at 100%. It's a strange one. I mean, I don't know. It seems the strangest BOP to me I've seen in a while, but if it works, it works, I guess. Good news as well is that this will be applied to the sprint races, and you'll probably be watching this after the 3 hours at the weekend and whatnot. They've just gone by, but this BOP is going to be applied to 3 hour races that are happening at the weekend. So be a good indication of what car to pick, and basically just get plenty of practice in beforehand if you can, and kind of just pick a car. Talking of the sprints, the sprint races, again, obviously they're at Spa, overcast conditions, starts 12 p.m. in-game time. And yeah, again, track temp is going to be about the same, mid-20 degrees, so nothing really to worry about in that regard. No chance of rain in the open or the fixed, which is kind of a good thing, if you ask me. The strength of fields are going to be incredible. They will be absolutely incredible. When it comes to Spa week and the sprints and the fixed, so many people do them. So many people. I think, apart from Daytona, it's probably the busiest week, I would argue, the busiest week on the sim. You've got Nurburgring 24 hour, but I genuinely think this one will beat that. I think this will be more popular because it's just pure GT3s, and since the tyre update, I think everybody loves GT3s, so it will be just, the softs will be like 6, 7, 8k. It'd be incredible, and yeah, expect many splits. If you want to find out any information about the actual event itself, you'll want to go on the forums. I'll leave a link in the description. So you can go on the forums here and it will tell you everything you need to know. So, for example, here we've got the slots, the date and time, safety rating, about the fact that you're not going to start before La Source, you're going to start after La Source, so it's after T1. That's when the green flag will be, so you don't want to go before that. 4 laps of qualifying, 15 minutes, so a little bit different to how we're used to doing it. It's normally 2 laps or 8 minutes. This time it's 15 laps or 4 minutes, so a little bit different. 100 instant points for a penalty and then 20 after. But yeah, that's where you can find all the information, so I highly recommend going on the forums if you can. Hopefully that's all the stuff covered for the special event and the GT3s, for the sprint and the fixed. Do remember the GT3 Endurance Series is going to Fuji. Fingers crossed, that's giving you information you need for the GT3 stuff to Spa. Best of luck if you do take part. All the best. It's one of the most difficult ones. GT3s, people are just next level in GT3s. They really are. Ignore the iRating, because there are some free 4K drivers that are as fast as 7 and 8. It's mental. It really is. Anyways, best of luck. Let's move on to the next series, shall we? Okay, then, let's move on to the next series that we're going to cover. Let's have a little look at the IMSA series. So we've got the IMSA Open and the IMSA Fixed. They are going... What the hell's happened there? This is just the AI running around, by the way, so I don't know what's happened there. We are going to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. One of the, I should say, most underrated tracks on the service. It's actually a lot of fun, this track. And multi-class here is mental. Properly mental. And because it's properly mental, I really like it. Anything that's got a crap ton of cars, that's multi-class, and it's just chaos and shouldn't really be for multi-class racing, I love it. I absolutely love it. I just love the chaos. I really do. I don't know why. I think it's just checking the replays afterwards and seeing all the crashes. But anyways, do you need to worry about rain in the open or fixed? No rain at all. It really has died down this season, because we're in the summer months. It really has died down quite a bit for many of these racetracks, so you don't need to worry about the rain at all. Track temperature wise, you're probably looking at mid to high 30 degrees track temp from everything that I've tried so far. How popular this will be, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be more popular than Aragon, but it's still not like up there. I'd say it's like kind of like D rating for popularity. I think you'll have to wait until late afternoon / evening, kind of British summertime, to get a decent soft or, multiple splits. I think it's going to be a little bit quiet. That's it for IMSA this week. There is no Endurance 2.4 this weekend, so you don't need to worry about that. And yeah, fingers crossed if you're doing it this week at the Canadian Tire. Best of luck. You will get killed. Like, you will die. Like, that's, you just if you go into this series this week, you've just got to understand that you will die at least once. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's IMSA at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's going to happen. But as long as you accept that and you know it's going to happen, you can have a lot of fun here. A lot of fun. So if you get a little bit bored of Spa this week, this will be the place to go. All right, up next, GTE fans rejoice, because I am finally covering this series. I know many of you asked for it, but the GTE Sprint Series, which many of you love and adore, is heading to the Nurburgring, but it's the Nurburgring combined, so it's the 24-hour layout, and I expect this to be relatively busy. I mean, it's a popular car, or car series, shall we say, and it's a popular track, so put them both together, it's just going to be popular. It really is. Should be a lot of fun. I think the RSR around here is a lot of fun. Actually, I'm not really a GT guy, but I've driven the RSR around here, and it's pretty good, I have to say. I do miss the days of the BMW M8 GT being good, though. I mean, my first actual endurance race ever was Daytona 24 Hour, and we actually debuted in the BMW M8 GTE. So it's got a special place in my heart, but I just don't think it's any good anymore, the M8 GTE. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I think for this one, I would probably go in the RSR, but I'm not a GTE guy anymore, so I can't really tell you. But this should be popular. Nurburgring combined GT cars. What's not to like? There's no chance of rain because it's GTEs. They don't have rain enabled because they don't have the tyres for it. And it's starting early in the morning, so you don't need to worry about the track temperature being too high either. So, again, if you want a little breakaway from Spa, GTEs at Nurburgring combined, good place to go. Okay then, with the Spa 24 Hour being covered and the free series that I would like to highlight this week, let's move on to some of the other stuff that I won't cover in quite as much detail, but is still worth noticing or talking about nonetheless. So let's have a look, shall we? Ringmeister, always popular, really, really good for getting your SR up. This week, we've had the BMW M2 CS Racing. Quite a mouthful. We've got GT4s next week, so that will be incredibly popular. The GT4s are so good on this sim at the moment, and so many people do actually prefer them to the GT3s, and you can kind of understand why. Some would argue a bit more of a driver's kind of series rather than the GT3s. I know the GT4s and GT3s are quite heavily assisted, but a lot of people argue that the GT4 is just more of a driver's car. You just get more out of it. It's not as fast, doesn't have so much downforce, but it feels a little bit more rewarding. So many people like the GT4s, and the fact they're going to the Ringmeister series, so they're going to the Nordschleife this week, will be very popular with the boys and girls who play on iRacing. The 296 Challenge, that's going to Spa. Again, that will be popular. That will be decent. I don't know about the popularity of the car since it's come out. I don't think it's reached the height, shall we say, the series of when it was GT3. But I still think it's fairly popular nonetheless. And yeah, that's going to go Spa. So that, again, will be fairly decent. Now, the Canadian tire, no, not the Canadian tire, the Production Car Challenge, sorry, that is going to Brands Hatch, and that is the full version of the circuit. That is not the short version, this is the full version of the circuit. So, I have not seen the Production Car Challenge go to Brands Hatch before, so that would be very, very intriguing, I have to say. That could be a little bit of all right, to be honest with you. I reckon that could be quite fun, the slower class cars racing around Brands, making that multi-class racing. It's a thin track, difficult to overtake at the best of times, so to make that multi-class race, despite the fact that there'll be slower class cars, will be quite spicy. Now, let's have a look at the Porsche Cup Series. If we have a look here, you are going to go to Tsukuba this week. I don't know. I mean, I always say if it's a free track, the chance the popularity of the series shooting up is quite high, but not so sure. Not so sure if I'm being completely honest with you. This looks good, by the way. The Radicals, they're going to Spa as well. So a lot of Spa. A lot of series going to Spa this week. Surprise, surprise. But the Radicals, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I really like the Radicals. And every time I race them, they are a lot of fun. But nobody races them, really, to be honest with you. I think maybe making it paid is not the best move. Maybe if they made the car free, you'd see the popularity skyrocket, but I don't know if I'll ever see that, to be honest. Maybe if it keeps being in the state it's in, maybe they might consider it, but at the moment I don't really see it happening, if I'm being completely honest. Vulcan Sports Car Challenge, that is also going to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, so you've got IMSA and Sports Car Challenge following each other this week. I think it'll be more popular than IMSA, that's for sure. I think that kind of track probably suits those cars a little bit more than GTPs, LMP2s, and GT3s. Being completely honest with you on that one. Now, one thing I did actually want to talk to you about quickly is the GT Endurance Series. It is not going to Spa, like I spoke about in last week's episode. It was swapped around, so this week it's actually going to Fuji. I don't know how many people realistically going to be doing this. It's one of those, again, because the Spa 24 hours here and the sprints are going to be at Spa during the week. I don't really know who's going to do this at the weekend. Of course, there's going to be some people. There always are. But I think you might struggle. If it was not the Spa and it was, you know, following the sprint series like it usually does, then you'd be all right. But, yeah. Canadian Tire, like I said, as well for when I was talking about the IMSA series. Didn't quite cover this as well as I probably should have done. But the 6 hour, that is also going to Canadian Tire. Same info as pretty much the open and fixed. Not really much to concern yourself with on this one again, because I just don't know who really is going to be doing it. I don't know. Let's talk about the open formula stuff, shall we? Currently, the F3 stuff is at Spa, which has been pretty fun. But let's have a look at the F4 stuff. So fixed is going circuit the Navarra. I don't see that being very popular, if I'm being honest. The America Tour, the F4 Summit Point Raceway, that could be okay. Again, it's free track, so who knows? The F3s going to Sebring. That'll be popular. People do like a bit of Sebring, and many people have got Sebring in their back pocket. By back pocket, I mean they've actually purchased it on the sim. Oran Park for the Asia Pacific Tour. Again, free track. People will enjoy that, I think. And then if we have a look at the European Tour, we're going to the track that I cannot pronounce to save my life, but you know which one I'm talking about. And lastly, the Super Formula Lights. Right now, they're at Silverstone. This week, they're going to go to Algarve. It's Silverstone this week, and obviously it's the Silverstone Grand Prix that's just gone. So probably why they've decided to pick Silverstone for the week. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Algarve. Algarve is a really underrated track, and it's really good. But not many people actually race around there. I think it's one of those tracks where it's very good for like lapping it, qualifying, time trial, whatever you want to call it. But when it actually comes to signing up and racing, I just don't think many people do it. And then let's have a look at the NASCAR stuff, shall we? So this week, Sonoma Raceway for the Class A fixed. The IndyCar Oval Series, that's going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's going to have to be because it's the Oval Series, isn't it? That's actually going to be Indy. Okay. That'll be fairly popular then. We've got the trucks at Daytona at the moment, and then they're going to go Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, and that's just going to follow it because that's the Open Series. And then the Xfinity stuff, what we got here? Sonoma. And then we've got slightly longer races for NASCAR against Sonoma again. So, yeah. Overall, I think it's a good week. Regardless if you took Spa away, I think there's some decent stuff in there. Some tracks that go into series that aren't very popular, and they might make them popular, if that makes sense. So, first thing that comes to mind is Ringmeister with the GT4s. I think Ringmeister is fairly popular, but GT4s being there as well is just going to shoot it up. And if we're talking about tracks, I should be thinking about the Radicals. Them, combined with the track they're going at this week, is going to increase the popularity quite a bit. So not a bad week, but certainly not world class. It's not as good as we've seen. And yeah, Spa does carry it a lot, but regardless, it's okay. It's okay. But anyways, regardless, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. I would really appreciate it. And I'll catch you for next week's episode. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.